Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
I've got too many bills.
If you need funds, you can apply in minutes at cashnetusa.com and have the money in your account as soon as the same business day.
Okay, got it. Applying now.
They've been helping hardworking people cover emergency expenses since 2004.
Hey, look, I got it.
You've got this.
When you need money fast, be the hero. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times. See cashnetusa.com for more details.
Offer valid on standard browsers, U.S. only.
When I heard about Date My Age, I thought, I gotta check that out. I mean, I'm getting older, sure, but I don't feel like I'm done with, the fun parts of life, like connection and desire, excitement. You don't really find those things at the grocery store or the doctor's office, so I went online. Date My Age made dating an adventure. It gave me a chance to feel like a teenager again. The thrill of seeing someone new and saying, wow. I could send a spicy gift, start a video chat, or just message my compliments to a beautiful woman.
Whether you love, or just like to look, the fun is waiting for you at Date My Age.
Sure, I was skeptical, but Date My Age is safe, secure, and fun.
Get 60% off when you join at datemyage.com today. That's datemyage.com to connect with thousands of singles worldwide. datemyage.com.
Now tuned into the greatest.
So when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music. Get control of your life, don't let nobody else do it. Cause we're not gonna have Metro S550s cruising.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take on the voicemail line 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And then shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code TheRunPodcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I don't know about you, but you got to go see some of these baseball games. It's rolling strong right now. The season is in full effect, and my Tigers are still dominant. And, hey, man, we are the hottest team in baseball, but yeah, go check those games out. Also, we got some news coming up later about the Chicago team in baseball, so we'll break down that in just a sec. But first and foremost, the most important thing that done probably happened today is Aaron Rodgers done found a landing spot in the NFL. He signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers on a one-year deal. Just crazy. I kind of figured it was going to be the Steelers at this point. They're the only team left that desperately needs a quarterback. So I kind of figured it was going to be a Steelers type of move to sign Aaron Rodgers. It was just a matter of when it's actually going to happen. And initially when I seen this deal go through, I'm like, all right, so Steelers, they kind of passed on Shedeur Sanders. They passed on Dart. They passed on a lot of other quarterbacks in the draft pretty much for Aaron Rodgers. And it solidified it as we clearly seen how the draft played out. However, with Aaron Rodgers coming over here to Pittsburgh and joining, all I can think of is for everyone who is excited and kind of making a huge deal out of this Aaron Rodgers signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, just prepare yourself, man. Hey, Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, all the fans there, get ready for another immaculate 8-8 season, 9-8 season with the first round exit. That's all I can say. Prepare yourselves for it now. Brace for it now, because the Steelers, with or without Aaron Rodgers, is only going to get above 500 at best. And the bigger issue of it all is Mike Tomlin. Now, of course, they've said Mike Tomlin is the reason that Aaron Rodgers felt comfortable enough to go to the Steelers, but Mike Tomlin is also going to be the reason that the Steelers go 9-8 and lose in the first round as they've been doing the past however many years. So I think of this situation, you bring in Aaron Rodgers, a guy who's established. We know who he is from what he's done in his career, but I'm afraid that all of the great days, the heydays of Aaron Rodgers is over at this point. Like, I'm convinced that it's over. The last few seasons I've seen with him in a Jets uniform was nothing convincing where I'm like, this guy is someone who's going to come into your organization and take you to a Super Bowl. I know one of the years with the Jets, obviously, he was injured. And then the second year, which was last year with the Jets, he didn't really impress me in a way where I'm looking at what he's doing on the field, not the numbers, not his stats and all of that stuff. Aaron Rodgers, his stats look whatever. It's a throwing league, it's a passing league. The stats are going to be up there and the numbers are going to be up there. But Aaron Rodgers did nothing in a Jets uniform last year that makes me go, look at that throw there. That's amazing. This dude is he's still got it. He's still a Super Bowl contending quarterback. Nothing I've seen from Aaron Rodgers last year convinced me that he's going to take any team to the Super Bowl with the way he's throwing the ball. He had noodle arms last year. There was multiple times where I seen Aaron Rodgers throw the ball behind receivers, not throw it further enough or far enough. Like, I seen this dude fail at throwing the ball multiple times. And again, not like the statistics of everything, more so the eye test. When you go back there and you watch Aaron Rodgers games and you see everything he did last season, the turnovers were awful, bad. The throws, yes, he had some good throws where it looked like, okay, this dude still got it, but still got it isn't going to get you to the Super Bowl and win. When you got to play a Ravens defense, I ain't going to say Bengals defense, but you got to play a Ravens defense, a Steelers, and a Browns defense multiple times throughout the year, good enough ain't gonna get it done. A quarterback that looks like he still got it a little bit ain't gonna get it done. So Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, prepare to go 9-8 and prepare to see a lot of drama because it's not going to be a good thing. And I think this is probably going to be the tipping point that actually gets Mike Tomlin fired, as I thought he should have been last year. But I think this is what's going to be it right now because Aaron Rodgers, he just hasn't been convincing over the years. And then now you got to play some tough defenses. You're in an elite conference at the AFC North, so it's going to get nasty over there. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I need to have a word with the Steelers, man, because I genuinely believe. So for the Steelers, trying to make sense of why they signed Aaron Rodgers, I'm struggling. Because from what only thing I can think of with the Steelers right now is like, all right, the Steelers is the one guy or girl who's like, I can make them different. I can change this person. They're not completely bad. Yeah, I know they cheated 7 times in their past relationships, but they won't do that with me. This is what the Steelers look like right now. They look like that desperate person that's like, no, I can change them. I can make him different. I can make this person way different than what they was. I see the good in them. That's what the Steelers look like right now. Taylor Swift has a song. It's called I Can Fix Them. No, really, I can. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can fix him. No, really, I can. When in reality, we all know how that situation plays out. He cheated on 7 other girls before you. He's going to cheat on you too. I'm sorry. Now, people can change, but when the behavior is not adding up and things aren't really like making sense of those signals that's changing, then it's kind of clear that it ain't going to really be, anything different. And with Aaron Rodgers in the last few years that he's played in the NFL, he's been drama. And also his play has been on the decline year after year. So now him going to the Steelers, an organization who thinks all of a sudden they can fix him, hell no, it's not happening. It's not happening. I would have personally rather have taken my chances with a younger quarterback in a draft. Hell, even give me Kirk Cousins. No, he's got a huge contract, so I wouldn't even do that. But just give me somebody who's younger and can actually evolve my franchise for years to come. But Aaron Rodgers, 1-year deal? You think he's going to take you to the Super Bowl with the team that you have? I'm sorry. The only receiver there who's really going to make something happen is DK Metcalf. And then you got a great defense in the Steelers, but I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if the Steelers make something happen with Aaron Rodgers from what I seen from a leadership standpoint last year and also an actual play standpoint. He was not that good last year. I don't know where everybody is coming from saying, oh, well, Aaron Rodgers, he's still good. The numbers. If you look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers, they look good. He did this, he did that. Okay, I get all of that. But how many times do I got to tell you? It's a passing league. Of course, the numbers are going to fluctuate. But did you actually watch the game instead of the highlights? No, you probably didn't, because if you did, you would see terrible throws of Aaron Rodgers throwing ducks and him overthrowing receivers and him just blatantly throwing turnovers and interceptions to other defenders. So you would see these things. You would see his lack of awareness, his lack of mobility to move inside and outside of the pocket. So you would see all these things if you just watched the actual game and not the highlights. But the numbers, yes, they do look good from Aaron Rodgers. But the numbers don't add up because it is a passing league. And if you actually watch from the eye test, you see that them numbers don't mean a damn thing. Out of all 17 weeks, Aaron Rodgers probably had 3 actual good weeks where he played great and he looked like a quarterback that was pretty decent and could actually help his team win. For maybe 3 or 4 games, you could actually blame someone else on the Jets besides Aaron Rodgers. But the rest of those games with the Jets that he had, oh yeah, it was all Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not letting that smoke go. It was all Aaron Rodgers' fault. Because if you watch what he did in those games, he played awful. So now he's going into the AFC North, which is about to be crazy. Super excited about it. But he got Ravens, got the Bengals, and the Browns. Crazy, crazy division. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to be tough, man. Steelers are still going to probably be very, very reliant on their defense at the end of the day. And I think that's what it's going to come down to is like how good can the Steelers defense help out Aaron Rodgers. Now, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers succeed. I'm not going to sit here and just be on a hate train. Aaron Rodgers has always been one of my favorite quarterbacks, but the trajectory that he's been on in the past few seasons is nothing good. It has not been a good look because his play has been on a steady decline year after year after year. And an injury didn't help, of course. But this is a guy who's in his 40s, and yeah, I don't think I'm not convinced that he's gonna win you a Super Bowl in 1 year. He doesn't have the pieces around him to do it, and then obviously he's been hurt over the past few years, so it's gonna be rough. But it'll be interesting to see Aaron Rodgers over in the AFC North now. Excited about it nonetheless, but we'll see, man. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, look, don't go anywhere, because we got some news coming up. And before we jump to the news, I got to let you know, man, shoot us a quick tape, 219-413-9405. Leave a message on the voicemail call. Let us know what you think about the Aaron Rodgers thing and him signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers and all of that stuff. And maybe even if it's unrelated to Aaron Rodgers, anything that's going on in sports, go ahead, shoot us a quick take. But anyway, look, we got some news coming up, some more things to talk about. So don't go anywhere. It's halftime. We'll be right back.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Oh, I've got too many bills.
If you need funds, you can apply in minutes at CashNetUSA.com and have the money in your account as soon as the same business day.
Okay, got it. Applying now.
They've been helping hardworking people cover emergency expenses since 2004.
Hey, look, I got it.
You've got this.
When you need money fast, be the hero. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times. See CashNetUSA.com for more details.
Offer valid on standard browsers, U.S. only.
When I heard about Date My Age, I thought, I gotta check that out. I mean, I'm getting older, sure, but I don't feel like I'm done with, the fun parts of life, like connection and desire, excitement. You don't really find those things at the grocery store or the doctor's office, so I went online. Date My Age made dating an adventure. He gave me a chance to feel like a teenager again. The thrill of seeing someone new and saying, wow. I could send a spicy gift, start a video chat, or just message my compliments to a beautiful woman.
Whether you love, or just like to look, the fun is waiting for you at Date My Age.
Sure, I was skeptical, but Date My Age is safe, secure, and fun.
Get 60% off when you join at datemyage.com today. That's datemyage.com to connect with thousands of singles worldwide. datemyage.com.
All right, news for the run. Let's get into it. Starting off with the NBA. The playoffs are here. Obviously, the NBA Finals are here. I'm super excited about this matchup. Indiana Pacers versus Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it's going to be a showdown. Game 1 happens tonight, so I'm loving this matchup. Excited for it. And I'm stand on the side of anybody who claims like, oh, this is a small, boring market, 2 small cities, Indiana, Oklahoma. I'm going to stand on it of, look, if you really don't like the teams that's in the finals right now, you probably don't like basketball as much as you think, because these teams play phenomenal basketball, and I cannot wait to watch. Thunder, great defensive team, great offensive team. Indiana Pacers, great offensive team, great defensive team, a lot of great players. It does lack stardom in this NBA Finals, but it's not really about that. It's about the quality of the game, and both of these teams play amazing basketball. So because of that, I'm super excited to watch this NBA Finals here. So some other things that's going on in the NBA world. So the Phoenix Suns are in the news right now. They've been trying to figure out where they can send Bradley Beal, but at this point, reports are coming out from Amico, and he's saying the Suns 100% do not want Bradley Beal back with the Phoenix Suns. So as most people expected, he's not coming back to the Suns. Now, there's also been some rumors of the Suns trying to get in some trade talks to send Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant over to New York. Apparently, New York does not want any parts of that type of deal either. But we'll continue to see how it unfolds for the Phoenix Suns and all of this. However, if you're just tuning in to the segment, then you know that Steelers, they grabbed Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. They signed him to a 1-year deal. So now Aaron Rodgers, he'll be part of the Steeler Nation, and he'll be over in the AFC North. Get to play against the Ravens, Browns, Bengals, some heavy competition over there. And then even more interesting, week 1, the Steelers will play the New York Jets at MetLife. So it'll be insane to watch. Justin Fields is also the quarterback, a guy that Aaron Rodgers has played a couple times in his career when he was with the Green Bay Packers, and Justin Fields was with the Chicago Bears. So it'll be exciting to see there. Also, too, some things going on in the baseball world. This is huge Chicago news, as a matter of fact. This is like probably this is just as big as the finals for a lot of Chicago fans, especially if you're a White Sox fan. So apparently the owner, Reinsdorf, he agreed to sell a chunk of the team, the White Sox, to the Ishba family. So Justin Ishba, he also is co-owner of the Phoenix Suns. Now, I don't know if a lot of people are going to be happy about the owner, but just know that people have been dying and begging for the Sox to sell forever. And now he finally sold a chunk of the team. So Reinsdorf, he remains in control until at least 2029, but he'll have the option to sell to the Ishba family through 2033. So yeah, it's going to be epic, man. I'm super excited for the White Sox. Like, this is what people have been dying for, especially on the South Side. Like, White Sox fans love that. I'm sure they're super excited about this. So I got to share that news. And then maybe at some point, the Sox can stop being so damn cheap. I feel like, there's multiple times where they have good players and they have a lot of guys with potential, but the development isn't there. They don't pay guys to come to Chicago. They don't pay guys to stay in Chicago if they have a good season. We always lose them to the Phillies. We lose them to the Mets. We lose them to the Yankees, the Dodgers, all these teams who are always willing to spend money. So, this could be a new change for the Chicago White Sox, where maybe they start to evolve to another dominant team or the dominant team in Chicago again. Now, the Bears or the Cubs are pretty good right now. So, I got to chill out a little bit. But this is huge for the White Sox that finally ownership is kind of making some changes in terms of being less greedy and selling the team. And then maybe they even move to the riverfront where they've been talking about over in River West or something like that. So excited about this, man. This is dope news for any White Sox fans who are in the game. And then also too, man, the New York Knicks. Oh, this was crazy. So the New York Knicks, they fired head coach Thibs, and this is the first Eastern Conference Finals that the Knicks advanced to in 25 years, thanks to Coach Thibs. And also the Knicks hadn't seen the playoffs in 7 years prior to Coach Thibs in 2013, but yet somehow they still decided to fire him, which I can't wrap my head around. So for me, seeing this happen, man, I initially thought, like, this is a huge mistake for the Knicks. I mean, this is a guy you brought in 2020, and he's helped, like, the Knicks just thrive back to New York basketball. He helped bring an identity back to New York basketball, and he gave the New York Knicks culture again in the basketball world. So it's like, to me, firing a guy like Thibs when he has a 56 win percentage in the past 5 years with the New York Knicks, when he's been a 4 out of 5 playoff appearances in the last 5 years, like, to me, it makes zero sense. And initially I'm thinking, well, there's no loyalty at all toward this guy because, I mean, he's been here and he's been active. He's been making things happen for New York basketball, and ultimately this is how you repay him. So it kind of feeds into that narrative of no matter what you do as a head coach in the NBA, for some reason, it always goes back to you and being your fault. We've seen this with Bickerstaff and the Cleveland Cavaliers the past few years. Cleveland fans swore it was JB Bickerstaff of why they couldn't win in the playoffs. They swore Bickerstaff was the main reason and the main cause of them falling short every single year in the playoffs. But yet they fired him, get a new coach. He wins coach of the year, and then they still fall short. And this was probably even more sad than when Bickerstaff was their head coach. So now the New York Knicks kind of following these footsteps. Coach Thibs, who obviously was doing a pretty good job since he's been in New York, only missed the playoffs one time since he's been there. And now the Knicks have to try and find somebody to fill in his shoes. When are teams going to realize that this pattern of firing a guy who's having success for your team is not a good pattern? Coaches are getting blamed for things they should not. Like, because you can't be mad at Thibs that Karl Anthony Towns don't want to play no damn defense. You can't be mad at Thibs that he's taking these wild shots and that players aren't giving, efforts that they're supposed to give. Like, you can't be mad at the coach for every single thing that's not their fault. And that's like what we're seeing right now. And it's not cool, man. Now, there was a couple different rumors that did like spark up after the firing here. So apparently rumor has it that Karl Anthony Towns was one of the ones who pushed for Thibs to get fired. There was another rumor that surfaced where people were talking about, they didn't really, players aren't happy about just the coaching staff in general. They don't want Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's dad, on the sideline, which is valid. But there's a lot of different things going on, like rumors in terms of, what's really happening with the Knicks. But I think above all, the thing that's concerning to me, and the one rumor that I probably believe out of all of this stuff about Thibs getting fired, is the fact that Karl Anthony Towns and some of the players probably did push for him getting fired at some point during the season. Because I don't know if you've seen it yet, but the way these dudes was balling in the club after getting eliminated, oh man, that tells me they were ready to go home. They were tired of playing the playoffs. They were tired of getting prepared for a new game every single night. They were ready to go home. Literally just, I think it was one night after getting eliminated, they were in a club popping bottles, cheesing, everybody having a good time. It's the off season. Woo, woo. Like, hey, let's party up, flick up, all of this stuff. And I'm like, wasn't the goal to win a championship? If it is, why the hell y'all so damn happy so soon? Now I'm all for, work-life balance, because let's keep it a buck. NBA is a job. I'm all for work-life balance. But bro, y'all literally was in the playoffs competing to actually go to the finals. Like, it didn't bother you a little bit the way y'all went out and lost to the Indiana Pacers team that people were saying overrated and all of this stuff. Like, they ain't bother. This is supposed to be kind of a rival and everything too. And they ain't bother you at all. Y'all in the club popping bottles, having a good time. Like, it rubs me the wrong way. And that's the only reason why I kind of can feed into the whole belief of, all right, maybe the players didn't really want Thibs to continue to be head coach. Maybe because they lost somebody who knew something where they like, all right, Thibs is out of here. He's out of here. We ain't got to worry about him no more. Because that's the only valid excuse I can think of. And then I know that the thing, too, with Jalen Brunson's dad, where that's been a whole conversation. And that narrative of Jalen Brunson's dad, I always thought that was like, a little weird. And it's not weird in the sense of, oh, he's coaching his son. That's normal, completely fine. I'm fine with Jalen Brunson and his father, being on the sidelines together. But I think it was a little weird in the way of the authority that he's had. Like, because he was always on the sideline and he's kind of a big part of the player rotations. Like, it just makes it, I don't know what it is, man, but it kind of rubs me the wrong way. It rubs me the wrong way a little bit of just feeling like, all right, well, DiVincenzo ain't doing his job. He ain't out here getting 30 like my kid, or Carl Anthony Towns. He's good, but he ain't running the show like my kid. Like, you can try and pull all your biases aside as a parent, but at the end of the day, you still, especially if your kid is as good as Jalen Brunson, you still going to assume and you still going to believe that he is the best player on the floor. So you're going to want him on the floor as much as possible. Anytime the head coach, Thibs, is saying like, no, he needs to go sit, of course you're going to be feeling like, nah, my kid need to get in there. He need to go sit. He need to go play. He can make a difference. Because we've seen the whole argument thing when in the regular season when Wolves and Knicks played against each other, and Dante DiVincenzo was talking trash to the bench, and he was talking trash to Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's dad. Like, that was a whole thing that happened, and I think it was some audio. I'm sure I can probably find it, but in the audio, DiVincenzo was saying how, like, he was just saying, like, I can't finish though, right? Like, he made a great play or whatever, and was like, I can't finish though, right? Like, oh yeah, that's what you said. Like, that's what you said. And then after the game, Rick Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo, like, kind of got into it a little bit too. So it seemed like it was already like a little tension between, players and Rick Brunson being on the sideline. But I mean, it's weird, man. I don't know what it is, but to me, like, the whole Doc Rivers and Austin Rivers thing is just a little bit different because Doc Rivers obviously was already coaching for so long, and then Austin Rivers was never really a big household name star like how Jalen Brunson is. So to me, it rubbed me just a little bit the wrong way. But man, it's gonna be interesting. I really don't know where the Knicks go from here. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Knicks can do, what they choose to do. I know some rumors happened where they was talking about Jason Kidd possibly leaving the Mavericks and going to coach with the Knicks. I don't really think that's going to happen. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, didn't Jason Kidd have a stunt with the Knicks already? Or I think it was the Nets. It was the Knicks. I knew it was one of them New York teams. So that's what it was. But to me, it's still just like weird enough where it's like, no, I don't think coaches are going to be, especially when there's so little loyalty already for coaches. So when you find a team that actually believes in you as a head coach, you probably want to stay with that team, like the Mavs believe in Jay Kidd. So we'll see, man. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Anyway, look, man, we got, the positive note here. I'm going to leave you with a positive note. And before I jump into the positive note, I'm going to just let you know, leave us a quick take, 219-413-9405. We'll play your take back. Comment on the Brunson thing. Comment on the Aaron Rodgers or any of the news that you might have heard. White Sox, maybe they about to flip things around since they, sold a big chunk of the team. Ownership is going to be a little new. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll leave you on a positive note as always. And a positive note today is just going to be, if you're down bad, it ain't no other way to go but up. So hang in there, bruh. Hang in there. We all going to move up at some point, but just hey, hang in there. I'm going to leave it at that. Interpret that however you want to interpret it. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible, but that's all I got for y'all, man. So I appreciate you if you've been kicking it, if you've been hanging with us. It is the weekend for a lot of us. It'll probably come out Friday. Today's Friday, Junior, Thursday, but the episode will probably come out Friday, so you'll see it then. But it's the weekend, man. We got the finals back. I know NHL actually been crazy too, man. Shout out to the Panthers. They low-key been fire, bro. I know I don't give them the full segment and all of that stuff, but Panthers been fire, man. They've been killing it the last few years. So it's a couple people from Florida, that come to mind when I think about, the Florida Panthers, doing their thing. So excited about that. But just, a lot of sports stuff coming up. So we'll see, man. But other than that, look, man, I'll be back later on next week. and so on and so on and so on.